My name is Chris Claremont. You're watching OMNI X-Men, and the second issue of Gambit comes out in 3 weeks.
What is up, everybody? It is OMNI X-Men. We are back tonight with another issue. I forgot to make that little edit there, but hey, we're having fun. It's Tuesday. We're talking mutant books. We're talking Chris Claremont, and of course, we're talking X-Men issue 157. And when I say we, it's because I got my co-host with me, my man John from John's Comics with Kids. John, what is up, man? You like this little?
I mean, sandwiches. I'm hungry. Let's see. Let's eat.
I mean, this is around the time for you.
Yeah, I tried to power some snacks in so I could be frosty and ready.
Love it. Well, I'm pumped for tonight because we got another great one to talk about here. 157. I was always curious about this cover, and so now I get the full story with it and diving into it, which we'll get into in just a sec. But of course, let's bring in our special guest. I think this might be his first time on this show.
It is
on the X-Men. He certainly has been on my channel before, but it's our good friend Kavi from Comic Book NYC. Kavi, what's up, dude?
What's up? I see some jokes. I see some jokes in the channel about you guys upping the show budget to get me to I guess.
Oh yeah.
And what I had to say to that is I've upped the show budget by bringing a giveaway. So
yes.
Just heads up, stick around to the end of the show.
There you go.
And you could potentially win this cool X-Men patch and this Kitty Pryde action figure that was in a Marvel Unlimited exclusive, even has Lockheed on there.
Love it.
So yeah, and then I will put together a some surprise comics as well for the package.
What a guy!
Wins. So stick around for the giveaway.
Love it. Love it.
But yeah, thanks for being on, guys. It's been a minute since I read either the prelude to the Brood Saga or the Brood Saga itself. As far as the Claremont run, I read the Claremont run for the first time over 12 years ago, I want to say, and I think since then I've mainly just gone back to the Dark Phoenix saga. So this will be fun for me to as both kind of remember things that are in the cobwebs and also just hang out with you guys. Really just an excuse to hang out with you guys.
Yeah, heck yeah, man.
That's why we do this show.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I'll remind the folks at home that if you're not following Kavi, I put his information in the description below. He's got a YouTube channel and also Instagram I threw down there as well. And then, of course, make sure you're following John because we'll be over on his channel next week, same time, Tuesday, 9 o'clock, as we break down the next issue. So be ready for that. And as Kavi mentioned, giveaways and stuff, definitely make sure you
not giving this away, but I am excited that moving forward.
Yeah.
Moving forward, this is going to be the way I read this run. It's this giant. I mean, epic, this thing is like a case, apparently.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so this is like. I mean, look at how nice this is, man.
Yeah, dude.
Damn.
Oh my God.
It's the size of a floppy, right? But it's a hardcover and has the whole run in it.
Where did you get that thing?
So this was like a very limited Marvel made the Paragon Collection Chris Claremont premiere bundle. Let's see, it was limited to 2,180 units. You had to essentially pre-order it to get it, right? Like when they first produced it. They include like copies of original comic art as posters.
Wow.
There's exclusive variants in it.
That's very cool.
Variants.
How do they fit the whole Claremont run in that tiny little ball?
No, it's crazy, right?
There's no way.
It's got to be, like
it takes like 7 omnibus. How do
what's
they?
cool is one of the variants is Dark Phoenix. So it actually is very timely to this discussion that we have.
Perfect.
You kind of get a Dark Phoenix in this issue, kind of. So.
That's dope, man.
Anyway, so I'm excited.
Clarify, that's not being given away. Clarify, that's not being
this is not being given away, but I am finally going to crack this open after the show as a celebration. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Very cool. So yeah, make sure you guys stick around because we have a bunch of Q&A about last week.
This will be given away along with some mystery comics today.
And that'll be the giveaway. Very cool. Let's say a quick hello to the chat, and then we're going to dive into a couple things. We got some questions for Kavi, and then we're going to jump into the issue. So start up at the top here. I'm going to scroll up here. We had our good friend John Ross, Big Daddy Ross in the house. What is up, John? Good to see you, man. Thanks for hanging out.
The other John.
The other John, yeah. JP collects in the house. What's going on, JP? Over under 3 minutes. We were under. Jackson Roy Kirk, he knows. See, there it is. Kavi doing double duty here in the chat. Love it. Love to see it. We got Ryan Magic Lasso. Wait, what is this? What is this?
I mean, that was supposed to be a meta comment, but we'll see.
Hey. Oh, okay. All right. Usually he has his. Maybe it's down a little bit.
As I say, where's the joke?
Yeah, it's got to be down a little.
Why am I asking for the joke?
I saw it in there. Somewhere.
Okay. We got Candace in the house. What's going on, Candace? Good to see you. We got our man Eric also hanging out with us. Azor's Tiger. Let's see. Oh, my man Michael, Sove Collector, was talking to him earlier over on Morbius's chat. Good to see you, Michael. Let's see. Scroll through. John saying hi to people. We got Albert Loves Comics. What is up, Albert? Yes, J Hood, Jamie. What's going on, man? Thanks for hanging out with us as well. Let's see. J Hood says tonight I'm painting a 125 scale figure of 66 Penguin and Catwoman. Very cool, very cool. I love how he does his art as he's listening in to the show. So
cool.
Appreciate you, man. Of course, we got our other regular here, Chet Knight, Chet Scotland. Good to see you. And we got Felix in the house. Hello, Felix. Thanks for hanging out. Guys, reminder, just smash that like button. And man, Lasso, no, I don't. I'm confused. My show's all thrown off right now with no dad joke. All right, so let's so before John, I know we like to ask a couple questions to our guests. Do you want to throw one question his way?
Yeah. So straight up, Kavi, who is your favorite mutant? Just one, like the number one favorite mutant.
Magneto.
Ooh. What's it about Magneto?
I just like sort of the Shakespearean nature of the character in a way, and just and you know, and specifically how he's handled in certain runs, the Claremont run being one of them. But he's always been my favorite villain, honestly.
It's funny, the previous issue 156
and
had...
no individual heroes I think outweigh my Wolverine's close though. So like if you like, you know, like if I had to choose a hero and a villain, then it would be Wolverine.
There'd be those two.
Yeah. Kitty Pryde's probably close, you know, like right underneath those.
Because the previous issue in 156 in the letters page had a lot of people discussing issue 150, which had like some origin growth to Magneto. And Auschwitz stuff was added in.
Yeah.
And it was interesting to hear the people that were writing letters talking about how Claremont was evolving the character from his early stages and how pivotal they felt like 150 was. It was a fun discussion in the comments section.
Yeah, I would agree that from Claremont onwards is more so where and the movies, of course, is more so where my fandom, I think, of Magneto comes from.
Sure.
That said, like I've even enjoyed the alternate sort of takes of him that Hickman has done in more recent runs. And I mean, even though I admittedly have not been able to like read everything that has come out in the last 10 years X-Men wise, especially even the last 4 years X-Men wise, there's just been a lot coming out.
Sure.
I just haven't been able to keep up with it. But definitely a standout character for me is Magneto.
Nice.
Great pick.
Couple other people in the chat here. We got my man Guy Forge hanging out with us from Pressable Defects. Good to see you, Guy. We also got Brock Morgan in the house as well. Brock keeping up with the tag wars over on Instagram. The guy's
a beast, man. He's a beast.
All right, one other question for you, Kavi, and that is, if you had to choose one story arc, what is your favorite X-Men story arc? What is one that just it's like an automatic for you?
Yeah, I'm just gonna say the Dark Phoenix saga. I mean, it's the only one that I've read more than
multiple.
Really, it's the only one I've read multiple times.
Yeah,
and have reread that trade paperback a bunch, isolated from the rest of the run.
Yeah,
and I've always had it really. So
I
haven't always had access to the whole run,
right?
Necessarily like since being a Marvel Unlimited iPad person or whatever, I've had access to pretty much all of it.
Yeah.
Now I need a new iPad because I can't read it on there either because my iPad. So
great choice. We got BPRD Comics in the house. What's going on? Hello. All right, let's get into this. Let's show a little bit of we'll start with the cover here, and then we're just gonna dive right in.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, right off the bat, this cover absolutely like certainly, you know, is attention grabbing, that's for sure. John, I'm gonna pass it to you first. What are your initial thoughts of the cover alone?
It's for me, it's the primary reason to buy this book. Like it is absolutely an iconic Phoenix cover, and then it's even better with the coloring, that pink like smoke going around her. Yeah, so good. Yeah, it's just one of the best. It's absolutely phenomenal. I know Kavi was mentioning the art that I know everybody talks about the burn, but the Cockrum, I think, art.
I actually prefer the Cockrum art within the run to the burn art. I know that's an unpopular opinion, I guess, but that's just my personal preference.
For sure. I think great, you know. Yeah, I think that often burn gets put above, but I think they should be on equal footing. If for nothing else, the amount of time and effort that
absolutely. And there's a page in this issue. I don't know if I think it's page 7, maybe page 8. We'll get to it, but there's a single sequence involving Xavier, Professor X, that is one of my favorite interior like panel sequences in any X-Men book in this particular issue, which is like it's a random issue to say that about, but it has one of my favorite interior pages.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Hey, we got Daryl in the house.
Hey.
What's up, Daryl? And so yeah, Kavi, anything else you want to describe or your thoughts on this cover as well?
Well, I like the fact that they're not being coy about it on the front.
Yeah,
with bringing some of the text over from the interior and sort of repurpose it. I mean, you don't really see that much anymore in comics, but it's something of the era that just gives me nostalgic vibes to have that sort of the reference to the dialogue on the inside on the cover. I enjoy that particularly. But yeah, pretty much agree with everything that John said. I mean, obviously it's kind of like a cover pose that will emerge a couple more times throughout X-Men. But yeah, it's great. I love it. Love, like, you know, Kitty Pryde cosplaying as Dark Phoenix is essentially what you're getting in this issue, and that's what you get on the cover. I think that's the biggest thing that you get from this issue. So
totally. And for me, like I never read this issue till this time around, but I've always seen this cover, and I always just thought like, wow, they bring back Dark Phoenix like earlier.
Because there's really nothing else key about it, right?
Right.
From a collecting standpoint. So it's one of those covers that kind of stands out. Like,
totally, yeah. I just remember thinking like, wow, like Claremont brought Phoenix back really soon. 157 is not much further just from a cover glance, you know.
Yeah, just from a cover glance, that's what you might think. Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, I'm with you guys. I actually don't know if I own this copy, but I know it's certainly an affordable issue, that's for sure. So I have to keep.
I've owned it in the past. Whether I currently own it, I would have to literally go into a X-Men short box.
Do some digging.
Yeah. That's a good question.
Hey, we got Super Russ in the house. What's going on,
Russ? What's up?
Good to see you. All right, let's go into these first couple pages here then. Through a couple of them together, we get the splash page on the left. You get the team, or at least what's grouped of the team right now in space, working with the Starjammers, trying to put back together the ship after the craziness that we went through last issue. So you get Corsair there, Cyclops, and then Wolverine and Colossus there. And I like that I put these panels all together because I like the different kind of motions or segments that are happening here, where very similar to, I think it was 143, John, where they're cleaning up the danger room, and they're using their ability to kind of do the same thing. So you get that here with Colossus peeling back the metal here. You got Wolverine slashing through, cutting things out, and then you even got guys like Raza, I think his name's Raza, who's helping out as well from the Starjammers. He's got his little what's he called, a magma ray gun of some sort, magma beam. So yeah, what do you guys think of kind of this opening scene and just the team, again, just kind of working together after such, craziness that had happened the issue before? John, I'll start with you.
I mean, I love the outer space stuff. I love the suits. I love the cosmic look of the background. I love the bizarre spaceships. I do wonder why Wolverine needs all 3 claws to cut that. I think 1 claw would probably do a little more even job with the work he's doing.
He's just an overachiever.
The 3 claws, I always think it's hilarious when his 3 claws cut something in a straight line. It's never like 3 lines, like you don't get like strips, whatever. But yeah, no, I love this stuff. I love the best is the Colossus rolling back a big sheet of the ship. Like it's just like a piece of butter. It's hilarious.
Absolutely. Kavi, what were your thoughts here on these opening scenes?
I always just enjoy seeing Corsair and Cyclops.
Yeah.
Like just in general. Like I mean, they don't get a ton of screen time to, just the 2 of them in this issue. And I didn't read the subsequent 5 issues before this, so I don't recall exactly when all that took place, but I know it's like pretty recently that
like last 2, I'd say,
that his understanding of him being his father occurred, right? So
this
is like early on experiences of them together with the Starjammers.
This is the calmest moment they've basically had.
Yeah, so just from a X-Men lore history standpoint, I think that's pretty cool, and I always enjoy seeing the 2 of them. I think it's a cool splash. I always like, just John said, space scenes, Starjammer scenes in general. I always dig that. So cool start. Although a little, it's like quiet and loud at the same time. It's like a quiet moment between the 2 of them, but they're out, beyond Pluto and space trying to fix the Starjammer.
It's like a lot's going on.
There's a lot going on, but it's kind of a quiet moment. So.
Yeah. Agreed. I'm with you guys. Definitely very cool to just start out right in space like this, the way we are. I like any time that the team's working together. And so moving into this, as they're, working on the ship, Colossus ends up like kind of ripping off a piece that explodes and sends Wolverine out into outer space without any way of really getting back, no attachment. And luckily for Mamzelle, she is, one of the Starjammers who jump into action and save him. Meanwhile, we see Colossus, who had just gotten recovered from that the alien plasma from his chest and everything, and the spear and everything. He had just gone through.
Was that the last issue, or was that like a couple issues ago?
Last issue. So he went through all that stuff, and then the Starjammers, machine robot was supposed to kind of heal him, and he's back in action. But here he faints.
Sikorsky
and doesn't really, Sikorsky. Yeah,
I love
the little robot. I was wondering we're gonna get a lot more, which we do get some more here. Yeah. So meanwhile, Wolverine's floating up into space. Mamzelle jumps out, saves him. He's like, well, who's going to save you? And then, of course, Cyclops comes and shoots his beams, kind of ricocheting, as you can see that bottom right-hand panel there, bouncing her back to the ship. And then meanwhile, Chode is like, guys, Colossus is down. This is not good.
They sometimes need a reminder,
Yeah, so many other things going on, right? Kavi, I'll pass it to you. What do you think of some of these action scenes here?
It's cool. I really like that top right, not top right, the middle right panel, the one that you have isolated in the first screenshot, but on the right.
With Wolverine.
Yeah, it's cool. At first I was like, well, what's going on with Colossus? Because it has literally been forever since I read the prior issues to this, and I'm just reading this kind of isolated, just this issue. But I think a few pages later, I kind of was like, oh yeah, like he died, like he died, or at least Kitty Pryde thinks he died based on the video or whatever.
Yeah. Which at this point, she still is not aware of exactly how that went down. She's like misled a little bit, since they only saw like a glimpse of what happened to him. Right. Very, very spot on. John, what about you? What are your thoughts on some of these? Seeing Colossus drop back down to his knees here.
I mean, I think to Kavi's point about Dave Cockrum, look at the detail in the backgrounds of these pages, the solar system stuff, the action and movement of characters, and the details on the ship, the light. The way the light is reflecting off of their helmets and their suits and the ship. There's a ton of really great artwork on these.
I think a lot of people probably have the same experience that Super Russ has, because it's one of those covers that you get, and it's not necessarily renowned for being like a great story issue, or like the Brood Saga is renowned for being a good arc within X-Men, I would imagine, but not nearly as good as, or I mean, this is all subjective, just my opinion. Not as good.
It's not. It's certainly not as like iconic.
Yeah, not as iconic.
Right.
Let's say that, right?
Right.
But
a lot of the middling issues.
but these in between issues kind of had a lot of like, you know, at least as it relates to Cyclops, probably more. Cyclops and Colossus, more important story.
Quick hello to Comics by the Bay hanging out with us tonight. Good to see you. And also Krista hanging out as always. Good to see you again, Krista. Thanks for swinging by here. John, anything else that you wanted to add?
No,
there?
I mean, that was it. I just wanted to highlight some of the beauty of the art on these 2 pages. Really great stuff.
Yeah, and he does a good job of like visual storytelling, so you don't necessarily need to read the dialogue again. Like if you're skimming through the issue again just to get a refresher on like what's happened, like I can pretty much get it.
Get an understanding. Yeah, agreed. All right, well, moving on here. So we flash over to the infirmary. Everyone's worried what is going on with Colossus. So he's out again, and how do you say his name again? The little guy, Kavi?
Sikorsky?
Sikorsky, yeah. So we get him here, this little fly-like
medical
robots.
droid.
Medical droid, yeah, who's there to who already took care of him once, and he's kind of saying it again. It kind of reminds me of Yoda, right? The way he talks kind of backwards throughout the issue, and so yeah, he's like basically like, I told the guy like he wasn't ready, and now here he is again. So he basically kicks the team out. He's like, all right, everybody clear the room. We're going to take care of this. Get out of here. And Wolverine, like, he does not want to leave. He's like, no. He's our guy. He needs us. And I love seeing the door slam behind him. And he's like, whoa, what the heck? And he's banging on the door. And Cyclops is like, dude, man, if we could get in there, we would, but we can't. So let's just move on. And he's like so angry about it. I thought that was
the best part about it for me is clearly the robot is like, that chick is smoking hot. She stays, and the rest of you go.
And that was my feedback on this page.
Absolutely,
you get Storm, for like 2 panels in this issue, basically,
and both of them are the robot saying, "Stay with me, sweetie. Stay with me."
Yeah.
Not enough Storm for my
that is definitely a flaw in this issue,
but
for sure.
Minor complaint.
Good call. Good call.
But it just cracked me up that she was the one the robot picked. Nobody with any real medical experience, but the hot lady.
Yeah. And then we flash over on the right-hand side there to Lilandra, who is finally like kind of getting her bearings and everything after they've been rescued, thanks to the Starjammers, and wanting to communicate. Because initially, the big plan is if Lilandra was dead, then her people, Shi'ar ships, were going to fire upon Earth, basically to get revenge for her death, based on not Earth itself, but the Brood and everyone that was behind it. So she's basically telling the people, hey, let's get on the call. Let me call back my what's his name, Lord, what's his name? I just lost.
Sorry, I've already forgotten that guy.
Araki, Chancellor Araki. So she's like, let me call him, let him know so he doesn't shoot the Earth. He doesn't blow up the Earth, right? That's basically the skim of this part here. And then when she does, she calls and you can see Araki is dead. He's laying on the side here, and then everything gets interrupted by Admiral Samzadar. And he gives his evil plans and basically says, I'm going to...
can anyone confirm the pronunciation of I'm not even going to attempt saying it.
I mean, it's the word same. It's the word same and the word dar, and it's depending on if it's
that's how I said it.
Samedar.
Samedar. I just said Samedar, but I don't know.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I said Samedar, but yeah, that's
It's
I'll
allow it.
Yeah. So he basically just, shares his scheme, plot, plan. What he's trying to do here is he's now taking over the ship. The rest of the crew on the ship doesn't know, so they think that Lilandra could still be dead, and he's basically just going to help, have them carry it out and blow up the Earth, even though he's doing it for other reasons that we know. He's now working with Lady Deathbird, who is, kind of paying him to run this show here. Any thoughts here on kind of what's going on, John? I'll send it to you.
I mean, yeah, it's obviously a dramatic double cross. You've got the plot moving forward with the issues going on with these characters in the Shi'ar universe, and It's okay. It's fine. I don't know that it's like a necessary thing to have one villain who's betraying another villain. Like, I don't know that I need all that stuff. You just need that. You just need your Machiavellian bad guy, and then let the rest roll.
It definitely gets a little more complex. You're right, with like villains blaming villains, and we're gonna get into more of that in just a second.
Yeah. So this is about the time. This is about the time in the issue where I was like, should I have gone back and read, the 3 issues prior, or at least the issue prior or something? Because there was something about this whole, like, the Shi'ar situation that I felt like I just didn't have all the, I just didn't have all the facts imprinted in my brain from forever ago.
Makes sense. I would say like last 2 issues is probably enough. To really.
So there's probably some details there that I personally didn't catch because I did not read the previous few issues this time around. Right. But I always appreciate like a good like spaceship deck, or like what's bridge or deck like of spaceship. That into that middle panel on the right page. For example, I always like pages like that, or panels like that.
Yeah, very much Star Trek like. So jump.
Yes, exactly. Like honestly, I felt a lot of Star Trek vibes.
Oh, there in this. Specifically this one too.
I feel like just even going back and reading this again with Justin, I've been constantly getting OG Kirk Spock vibes, even from like just the non-space issues.
They actually tribute Kirk in this issue with the name of the captain, right? They do.
Yeah.
KRK or K.
Right.
Yeah.
Comic book report in the house. What's going on?
Yo.
So moving on here, we got so basically Lilandra, once she finds out that she can't get in touch with the ship, she asks Professor X to use his psi powers to reach out to the 2 that we know are still technically held hostage, Kitty Pryde and Nightcrawler. So he tries to reach out to them. He doesn't quite get there. Something happens with this really psychedelic, and we saw this once already last issue, but this really psychedelic panel here of like his mind being meshed.
That's the 4-panel sequence that I was alluding to earlier. That's one of my all-time favorite interior.
With all the green.
Just the middle of the page. Yeah, exactly. I love that.
So there is another similar scene in the issue prior to this, if you get a chance to check out. But so basically something happens, it gets canceled, and because of that, now we got another X-Men down. Professor X drops and essentially is gone googly-eyed here, and so they're gonna rush him to the infirmary as well. So 2 guys down while the team figures out what the heck is going on. And then we quickly switch back over to the clan ship of the Brood. I just wanted to blow this up because I really like this ship. I think it's a really cool one. And we learned last issue that this is technically a ship that's alive, even though it's no longer really it doesn't have its own sense anymore. The Brood has taken over to the point where it listens to whatever the Brood controls it to do. But I do like the idea that that there's a species out there of this alien size, and I'm sure, I know we talked briefly about it, but it'd be cool to learn more about this along the way.
Well, and they also explained that that pink coming out at the top that turns blue as it goes behind is the giant hole that the X-Men punched in the side of the ship when they escaped in the previous issue. So it is like leaking whatever into space.
Yep. Yeah, it's not a good situation for the animal ship alien,
right?
And then of course we jump right into this little back and forth, which to me I was just cracking up, because basically you get the 2 villains who've been teamed up and working together now basically saying, you failed, and so for that I'm going to kill you. And it's like, well, you failed, so I'm going to kill you. Like, I don't like to be on the losing team. Well, I don't like to be on the losing team either. And they're like, well, you promised me you're going to benefit me if we team up, and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah. And I'm going to double cross you. No, you're going to double cross me. I'm going to double cross you back.
I'll double, triple cross you. Like, so I thought it was a little bit much for what really, like, where they ended up landing. This whole conversation with all the panels they used I think was a little over the top. But anyways, Deathbird basically says, hey, I got this tool that's going to show you all the different details of what these mutants can do. And they're like, ooh, maybe our the mother breeder, the queen brood would appreciate them being their slave or whatever. So that's kind of where we leave off with this conversation.
That center panel on the right is so cool. Like, but it reminds me of like a video game, like selection screen or like an arcade game or something.
Oh, yeah.
Like back in the day. I don't know. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. No, you're right. It definitely does. Yeah.
And this is more kind of just giving my personal experience rereading this. Like, since I didn't read the subsequent issues prior, I completely forgot, like, well, when did Deathbird like enter,
Yeah,
was it like 4 issues before this?
It was a handful.
It was like 2 or 3.
Right?
Yeah, it was at the beginning of this arc, around the same time that Colossus got stabbed in the chest.
Yeah, okay. I think that's 2. When we started the season, which has only been a couple.
Yeah, because at first I was like, wait, is this her first appearance issue? No.
Yeah. Okay. Quick hello to TM Nerdy in the house. What's going on, Travis?
Hey,
good to see
what
you.
Up?
Let's see. Chat just jumped on me there. Yeah, I like Chris's comment here. Duck season, rabbit season, duck season. Great. Yeah. So let's jumping into the next kind of setup here. We go back to the fleet, and again seeing these two, and these two trying to figure things out, right? So Nightcrawler is working on this little contraption. Meanwhile, Kitty Pryde has her own plan and she's been messing around with all these different suits and costumes. We saw Darth Vader in that issue two issues ago, so she has some knowledge of the ship as well now, because
first appearance of Darth Vader in X-Men comics.
That's true. That's very true. I should note that.
We have a Star Wars fan here.
Does it literally say that on the CGC label?
It does. It should.
I don't think it should.
Yeah. But it's legit. It's there's no question, and it's a full panel.
Yeah. Yep. So they each come up with their own ideas. Kitty Pryde ends up essentially doing her thing first, knowing that Nightcrawler can't teleport from somewhere he hasn't quite seen. So she goes out into space with her new suit, basically comes back in around and figures out at the bottom right. I do like this little moment. I'll pause for a second, because at the top right hand, I like that she takes a moment to look at the world from her view, and then also she starts to have almost questions herself, as she reminds herself that she's a kid still. She's like, the way she was talking to Nightcrawler and saying, I'm an X-Man, I can do this stuff, and then she starts to have a little bit of doubt here for just a second, but then immediately kind of snaps out of it and says, no, I got to do this. No one else can do it except me. Kind of put the team on my back type of thing. So, she continues onward and sees that there's basically these, villains on the outside that were planning.
Not to interrupt, but was this costume supposed to be homaging anything specific, or is it an Easter egg?
I don't think so.
It's just some random.
It was a random, yeah.
Yeah, this issue and the one right before it mostly have quite random little outfits that she's wearing.
Because of the costume computer hacker machine,
including the village people, sailor biker, the character she is right here with the hat.
Great call, Candace. Another ugly Kitty Pryde face. Yeah, last issue it was quite an ugly piece of artwork, and this one not doing justice either. So I feel you there, Candace. So basically from here, and I'll send this to you guys. I just want to show this. So that she bursts through the door here, and I love this scene because there's a lot going on. First of all, these 3 guys were sent to kill them. So they didn't know that at first. They still didn't know what was going on at all. They just knew something was wrong. So luckily she comes right in at the moment. On top of that, she goes through them, and by doing that, she kind of short circuits the armor that they have, the combatant armor and their weaponry, and takes 2 of the guys out immediately, which is awesome. And just to give you more of a sense of what her powers can do. And remember, at this time, if you are a new reader reading this for the first time, I imagine you're still learning a lot of what is Kitty Pryde capable of against. Well,
I think while she is learning it too.
Absolutely, right? Yeah,
because we saw her in the early issues falling through the floor
Yeah.
And realizing that there's this
Right.
like hovering that she can do, controlling her gravity.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and this was kind of like a mistake almost. Like she just ran
Yeah.
through them just thinking
Yeah.
like, oh, let me go to Nightcrawler.
She was
here.
trying to warn Nightcrawler.
Yeah. And then we get these awesome panels of Nightcrawler doing his
Yes.
thing, the bamfing left and right.
So good.
Left hooks, right, left. Yeah. So with all this, what are you guys seeing of this? John, I'll start with you. Some of these last panels I just mentioned.
I mean, yeah, Nightcrawler is one of my favorite mutants. It's for me, it's Storm and Nightcrawler. That's why I love Giant Size in '94. These are my mutants. And anytime he gets a chance to shine, I always feel like it's got a lot of either fun or heart. And this is fun. This is a lot of fun.
Totally agree. Yeah. Kavi, what about you? Anything to add there?
Well, rather than adding something, I'm going to share something. So
Oh,
let me, if you don't mind me doing a share screen or whatever.
Not at all. Not at all.
So,
Yeah,
I think this is one of the best pages in the book, and it's the only one that has been on public auction sale where the data is still available, the original art. So as you can see here, this is the page. It's one of the best pages in the book.
So cool.
And so there's the original art.
That is awesome, man. Love it.
I don't know if I can.
And for those who don't know, Kavi is well versed in the original art arena. I'll call it. Yeah.
Dave Cochran pencils and Bob Wycheck inks. Of course, Chris Claremont wrote the issue. But if you were smart enough to bid on that on Heritage back in 2007 when it sold, you would have only paid $880.
Oh my god, that's
wild. You would be paying quite a lot now.
Like
yes.
Original page like that.
It's a pretty cool little piece of history right there.
Yes, very cool. Thanks for sharing that. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's really neat. Hey, we got Mr. Fantastic in the house. Hey everyone.
Reed,
what's hanging out? So and then the rest of this. So on the right hand side, now they see the truth, right? They see that Chancellor Araki is on the floor, dead, still burning from his chest there. Kitty can't stand the sight of it. And they clearly know now, okay, so something is up, and it specifically has to do with Samidar, who he already came off as creepy as Kitty Pryde says, and now clearly sending those men to kill her and Nightcrawler, and now seeing the Chancellor on his back here. All right, that's the end of it. So they go into their other plan, which we still don't know yet. What is the plan? The thing that Nightcrawler was working on just a few panels ago. I love that we
freaking good.
We flash into that bottom page where we see everybody together basically, and Samidar is telling everybody what's what, while Gladiator and the rest of the Shi'ar team doesn't quite know what's going on. They're just listening to the Chancellor
Oracle,
based on Oracle, based on their instructions, from what Lilandra had left with them. So they're kind of working for the bad guy accidentally. But then we get these awesome scenes here. I had to blow it up a little bit. Bamf,
so
bamf, 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 bamf. Yeah, Nightcrawler comes in.
A Nightcrawler ad on the right? Like how did
I just threw that little GIF in there. Yeah.
GIF?
So
you added that. I was like, okay.
Oh yeah. Okay. A bunch of bamfing going on, and then out of nowhere, boom, we get this awesome set of panels where we see the Phoenix, the Dark Phoenix. I mean, the eyes and everything, Jean Grey. It's like blown away, and even her words and everything she's saying, you see the text bubbles being scratchy and like loud, the way that we had read 15 issues ago for Phoenix. So to see her here and like this, now of course, if you haven't caught on by now, it is actually Kitty Pryde, as she has just been playing around with all those different costume changes that she's been dealing with. So I love that we get this whole clever cosplay switch, as Kavi you mentioned earlier, and then for her to escape, I also like that she just drops through the floor, which I think is awesome.
That whole phasing that is really cool. I would love to see the original art for that page.
Totally. That would be really, really cool. So Kavi, what do you think of all this? The idea of this, the bamfing coming in, the way Nightcrawler did, and Kitty Pryde showing up as Phoenix.
I loved it. I did think that the whole explanation around like the costume machine thing hacking into the mainframe, or there was some sort of correlation between the cost. Was that this page or was that later?
So in the previous issue, when Xavier left them
Okay,
behind,
so that was alluding to the previous issue.
Xavier basically planted a seed of knowledge in her mind so that Kitty could understand their technology.
Yeah.
Right.
And then she's been abusing that to just kind of goof off while they were stuck in captivity. And she's then mastered this one device.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah, because without having reread the previous issues, I was a little bit like, well, that's convenient, you know. Like,
how did they know?
yeah, and I just didn't remember that story point.
Quick hello to Tony.
No, but overall, I love it. I think the image is great. The dialogue is great. It's specific callbacks to, like, you know, the character, right? Like, only people who knew the character well could pull off, I think.
Totally. I'm with you there. Yeah. We also got Chop and Drop in the chat as well. Chop, hope you're doing well. Thanks for hanging out with us. John, what about you? What are your thoughts on this whole set of scenes here?
People mentioned it at the beginning that this is a bait and switch cover, right? Because we're clearly not getting Phoenix, but it's still a lot of fun, and it fits nicely with Kitty and who she is and what she's trying to do in this plan, and the bamfing like brimstone fire smell that the people get whenever he bamfs, having that like create the illusion, so good.
Yeah. Krista says, yeah, except the Kitty that Kitty wouldn't know Phoenix's voice and inflection, but we'll give him a pass because the concept of deception and distraction is great. Yeah, I'm with you. It's true. I saw, what was the other thing? Oh, I want to highlight Brock here said, I wonder if Gladiator and Lilandra have the same hairstylist. I mean, they live together essentially. So, I mean,
to Chris's point though, I mean, obviously Kitty survived the Dark Phoenix saga and the Hellfire Club and those elements. So she definitely came in contact with Jean. Yeah. But you know, like, certainly not on the level that the rest of the team.
I don't know if you know, what's it called? Like imitating a voice is part of her power set. But she probably did her best.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Right.
It's still enough to at least fool everybody. I mean, they were probably more blown away by
the costume immediately
right away.
Somebody puts, especially the enemy essentially. In the frame of mind of we're about to get destroyed by.
and the fact that they lived through this before, like Gladiator on the right is he's like, whoa, he's like,
they're
it took a whole team.
They're still scarred by the whole thing. So,
so I'm sure that made his heart drop along with everybody else in the room drop, you know, just to see that. Because I do like that he mentions that. He's like, it took a whole team of us, and that was for her to even agree to step down, basically. So I like that he really kind of, you know, clarified that. So continuing on with the right hand side. So out of nowhere, basically to continue with this plan that Nightcrawler and Kitty have, what they have to do now is get some of Lilandra's team, like Gladiator and Oracle, on their side. And so the way they do it, they end up stealing Oracle for a second because she can read minds, right? So they steal her. Nightcrawler bamps, as you can see, he's looking behind as he was just talking to Oracle, and now she's gone. And even Oracle's freaking out at first. She gets tackled by what looks to be Phoenix, which is like terrifying, I imagine. And then, of course, they kind of make her read her mind. There's, you know, they take a moment where Oracle's like, oh, getting a full background of what's going on. She's like, okay. And then they bring the teams together, and Oracle's like, listen, here it is. Like, this is what's going on. It's the truth. You know, I read their mind, and Gladiator's still like a little on the fence, but he's like, all right, well, look, even if this is, you know, a lie, like clearly there's something up. So they end up working together. And then at the same time, Semidar, who has loyalists on his side, as Gladiator mentions, he has his own little group. I had to put this scene in here of the different gangs coming together because I immediately thought of that.
Spanish news tonight. Yeah. Streets run with Burgundy's blood.
Yeah, there it is. So, big battle scene coming up here.
I thought it was Bane appering.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's what he said, because I almost put a Bane gif in here. I really did.
Oh, that would have been funny.
Yeah. I almost went with that.
I mean, these are good choices.
And then of course, you know, we get right into all the action. The fight scene begins, and as they're duking it out, Nightcrawler's like, look, Kitty, you got to get out of here. You know, you got to stop the ship. Remember, this whole issue is about them trying to turn off the guns, right? The thing that's going to destroy Earth is what they're set to do at this point. So he tells Kitty, if you go escape and try to destroy the computers, which, by the way, if we flash back to a few issues, not a few, probably a good 20 issues ago, we know that Kitty Pryde knows how to destroy computers accidentally, as she's done that to Professor
She's
X
got some tech,
plenty
tech
of
savvy,
time.
but
Yeah. So she's gone off, and you know, even though she's looking like Zelda there.
I want to highlight this because I think it's hilarious that we never see her change costumes again, but it's just now like known. It's just what Kitty does. Like she just swaps gear. So like we literally go from like a panel of Phoenix being her mind read and knowledge going to Oracle, and then it says soon, and it cuts to the whole team all now talking with the Oracle, and she's just Robin Hood now. She's just dressed as Robin Hood. It's a hilarious, like, just instant swap. No comments are made. Nobody says anything. She's just Robin Hood now.
Yep. No, it's a great point.
I just love it. I just love it. It's just her.
Cockrum is just so good at drawing Nightcrawler, though. Like, just, I don't know. In every single one of these pages, my eyes are more immediately drawn to him than the other character. So.
Yeah. I also, that top left-hand corner picture, at first glance, I actually thought the Hulk showed up because I see green and purple. It almost looked like his purple pants, you know? Right. I'm like, wait, how did the Hulk show up? Like, where did he come from? So, yeah.
Kind of looks like a bat cowl in front of him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, it definitely does. Yeah.
He sat on the Batman Who Laughs.
Yeah. So, all right, moving on here. You know, as we get towards the end of this, we see Semadar basically is like, oh, I have to do everything myself, and basically takes everybody out with the click of a button. I thought this wrapped up rather quickly. These scenes here, the firing
the galactic level stakes were like introduced and then wrapped up in like 4 pages.
One button.
It was wrapped up in like 4 panels. It was
whoa, that could have been like a whole X-Men movie.
You're right. They could have done a 4-issue miniseries with that thing. Exactly. So click of the button.
I mean, that's how they would do it today. No offense.
Totally. No, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. Maybe they'll revisit it one day. And then, of course, even Kitty gets zapped. And now this is interesting, too, because, you would think that Kitty Pryde, since she can go through walls and stuff, she could just easily avoid bullets or lasers in this sense. But this one still gets her. So just something to keep in mind. I know for sure I was thinking that, when it first happened that, there's a gun creeping up on her. As long as she sees it, it should miss her. But this one actually still got her. Doesn't really explain the details of that blast, but I'm assuming it just kind of caught her off guard. So it takes her out as well. And then, of course, on the right-hand side, you get the team now all chained. So again, like you guys said, this wrapped up in 4 to 5 panels, not even a page.
Yeah, I know.
To go to this. And then Semadar basically telling everybody, this is my plan. This is what's going on. And I'm taking out the Earth regardless. And it's all, it's for the money, right? We learned that Deathbird has paid him a lot of money to do so. And then he tells them, fire away. And as they do, we get our on your left scene. So I had to throw this in here. But we get the Starjammers, and they jump in out of nowhere to deflect the main laser from destroying the Earth here. So pretty wild stuff. Again, happens all really fast, but definitely wild. Kavi, what are your thoughts on
I mean, look, there's some story plots that get extended over, half an issue, a whole issue, multiple issues, and then there's just things that get resolved real quick, and maybe they weren't as necessary to draw out. And I think it's like a lot of times when I see the introduction of a Earth destroying level danger, I usually expect a little bit longer time to resolve it. But when I see something like that resolved so quickly, I just go, okay, because comics, great.
Yep. Yeah.
And I just move on. Like, it's fine. I like the Starjammer and the panel and like all the, the line work all over it and everything. Like, I really appreciate the imagery and everything on it. It isn't the strongest part of the issue from a storytelling standpoint,
right?
Necessarily, but I understood it. And it was fine.
Yeah, I'm with you, John. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely wraps up insanely fast, and I think Kavi mentioned like eras of storytelling and how modern comics would do it differently. For me, it's also just like true of like movies at this time. And movies, my dad would show me movies that like that were like all huge plot and drama, and then it gets resolved in like 5 seconds. And then before you can blink, it says the end, and the credits were at the beginning. So the movie's done, and you're like, wait, what? That's the end? Like it's done. You think of like Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, which basically just ends with Jimmy Stewart collapsing on the ground, and then Kid runs in and says, "Don't worry, the news got out," and then then the credits just roll. The movie's just done. Yeah. Jimmy Stewart is laying on the ground in the middle of the Senate, and they're rolling credits. Like it was kind of the era of storytelling, and so in this case,
they were definitely more casual with throwing out like earth destroying level.
We got to wrap it up. Yeah. You know? And I think this is a way more abrupt than normal example of it. It just feels like we just
even for Claremont, it's very abrupt.
So.
So it's in keeping with the style. It's just egregious.
I want to highlight here. Jackson Roy Kirk says shooter to Claremont. No, they can't all be double-sized issues.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And Michael's saying, is that the amazing Moaning Chicken Starship?
I mean, yeah,
pretty much. Quick hello to Comic Ozzy in the house. Good to see you, man. And also Bobby De La Ghetto as well hanging
Candace out. Also nails it with these endings resolve as fast as Scott and Corsair made up.
Yes, you are so right. And that's something I forgot to highlight. There is another scene in here where he's like, good. Don't worry, son. Kavi, this is one thing that bothered me in these last 3 issues, because it really was only 3 issues that all this has come together. Corsair,
it was very recent. I know that he found out that.
And to me, it's bothered me that like they quickly became like, well, hello, son. It's like, oh, hello, dad. Like they really.
Did Kitty Pryde know that at first? Or
it went. Well, no, it was a Storm.
And then he got mad at Storm.
But like it went from like him punching Corsair because he just found out
Storm was gonna tell him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
she
made a promise not to.
She made a promise not
to.
Yeah.
So then he's mad at her. Then he's mad at Phoenix, and he's mad at the world. Yeah. But now they're like fully embraced.
Now they're calling each other father son.
That's what I just laugh because I read the
there wasn't a like.
Yeah, no, there were no gradualness. There was no. He's just like, hello, son. Like I was like last episode, I was expecting them to like take out a baseball and glove and like, come on, son, let's catch up and really forced. But yeah, let's wrap this issue up here. We got a couple of last standing panels. Of course, we get this is all
hologram.
Perfect, by the way, for Kavi. For Kavi being Star Wars fan as he is. Yeah, so how to get the hologram in here. Basically, Lilandra's like back in now. She's able to take control, tell her people like, hey, here's what's going on here. Recaps the whole thing, tells Gladiator, get everything together here. Take this Samudar guy out of here. Here's what he did. He took out our chancellor, yada yada. So she fully takes over everything here, and then wants to jump over to the ship. Everything's kind of buttoned up, but of course the very last couple panels we see that Colossus is okay and he comes back, but now we still have the issue with Professor X. And this is where Sikorsky, comes flying in as well, and Storm saying, according to Sikorsky, while the professor's body is substantially unharmed, his brain may have been completely irrevocably destroyed, and he could be a mindless vegetable. So kind of scary, and clearly they're not out of this yet. John, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts on kind of these ending panels here?
I mean, it definitely wrapped up quickly, and yet still wanted to set up what could possibly happen next issue. Yet again, like they have to set up the desire for you to buy the next book, even though they're trying to resolve everything for this story arc. So that's a little frustrating. You wish they had like 2 pages more, like even just 2 pages.
Yeah, agreed. Kavi, anything here as we wrap this issue up?
Yeah, I mean, what John said is basically my like, it's a good enough cliffhanger for me to want to like thinking about this issue coming out in 1982. Like, if that was the end of the issue, I'd probably pick up the next one just because Professor X is too important to not care about what how to resolve his storyline. So I would like even now. having just read this issue isolated without having read 154, 55, 56 prior to this, I think just the ending here and where you leave things off with Xavier, I might, now that I have this Chris Claremont bundle thing, giant omnibus thing, I might crack open 158.
Yeah, man, do it up. Do it up.
So, yeah, it's not bad. I do not think this is anywhere near a top 10 X-Men issue as far as story, but it's good. It's decent. It's like a decent issue with an amazing cover and amazing interior artwork. Basically,
I think that's well said, and that's kind of how I view this too. Is like, it's almost like, I don't want to use the word filler, but it's like it's connecting a few storylines, and yet it doesn't have the big picture stuff like the Brood and stuff.
Exactly.
But it still has relevant.
I think these issues are considered like the prelude to the Brood.
Yeah, that's fair,
and that's fair.
Yeah. So of course we like to, before we get into the numbers and everything, and then of course stick around, we're going to do our questions here shortly. Kavi has something he wants to give away. Before we get into that though, I want to hear what your guys' final thoughts were on this issue in terms of grade. How would you grade this in a 1 out of 10 or 9.8? How would you grade this, John? I'll start with you.
It's definitely a lower one in general, just because of how abrupt the ending is for me. I think there's definitely some stuff that just feels like that just didn't resolve in a satisfying kind of way. The notes early on really strong, the art really strong. I think in the end I'd probably give this a 7.5.
Yeah, that's fair. Kavi, what about you? How would you grade this?
Based on a scale of some
kind?
Like
we were doing like the CGC scale. Yeah, like if you really loved it, like 9.8, 9.6.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably give it like a 7.5, 7.0 range. Like a VF copy of X-Men 157 for the short box. Yeah, I mean, look, I think I surmised it just a few minutes ago, where it was like great cover, great interior art, decent story, but nothing mind blowing.
Yeah. I think I'm with both of you there, and I was aiming.
So I would rate it average, whatever that.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm with. Yeah, I rated about a 7. I see chat here too, 7.0. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm glad I read it, and obviously ties into a lot of what else is to come. So,
sure.
And I would like to have it in the collection. And like you guys pointed out, the cover I think is worth.
Cover alone's worth it. Yeah. I don't know what what a 9.8 goes for these days.
Well, guess what? We're about to tell you.
We're about to dive right into it. There we go.
I figured I brought the art research to the table. You guys
yeah. Perfect segue as we planned. Okay. So here you go.
There we go.
So here's 157.
4 9.9s. Wow.
Yeah, so there's a couple of 9.9s out there. I know was it last issue, John, that we actually saw a 10 point.
It was a 10.0, yeah, 110
for 156. So for 157, last sold was 2019, went for over 1,000. Again, this is Go Collect. If anybody's wondering where we get these numbers from,
why would their key elements be cool team up with Kitty?
I just threw that in
versus incredible Cockrum like homage cover.
Yeah, no, it definitely. I meant to go back and have some fun with this one, and I didn't have time to. But yeah, just threw in the. I like.
Oh, you added that. I was like,
these are our key elements.
No. If I were to rechange,
I forgive you, Go Collect.
It's definitely the BAM thing for me. Yeah. So I mean, obviously, otherwise very affordable. A 9.8 drops down to $1,000. If you really wanted this in a 9.8 grade,
you mean $100?
I'm sorry, $100 for a 9.8, and then $90 for a 9.6. Which is actually interesting. A $10 difference there. I know that this is probably over the course of X amount of months or years now at this point, it's just these numbers, but yeah, still usually not a $10 difference.
Yeah, I mean, based on these numbers, it's a book that
it just doesn't sell.
If I was looking for it, I would pick it up raw. In as high grade of a condition as possible and for as cheap as possible.
Yeah, agreed. So yeah, there are the numbers. If you want to get a 9.9, it's out there. You could.
All right. So how do we do this giveaway?
All right. So here's how we're gonna do it. So Kavi, we have 4 questions we're gonna ask the audience.
Okay.
The questions are based on last issue. They have to we're looking for 2 correct answers.
I have not read.
That's all right. That's all right. But here's where you come in. We asked for 2 correct answers, which John and I will confirm when we see the first 2 to type the correct answer. And then the third answer that we're looking for is the most funniest or ridiculous answer. Okay. So we're looking for a funny answer based on making you laugh. So the audience has to play to your humor and go. So you go with. So
they
what
have
you
to
think
get
is most
2
funniest.
of the questions right and then a joke, or one of those questions has to be.
He's trying to figure
with a funny answer.
Kavi wants to know how to give away his thing that he wants to give away.
Oh, so for his, I was going to say for Kavi's, let's just do one of the questions. We could do the last question 4.
Okay.
Whoever has the funniest
person. Oh, whoever has the funniest.
Whoever has the funniest, you
perfect.
pick. Yeah,
Great.
and then
so
and you want to hold it up one more
and
time.
Question 2.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Kavi. Yeah, I'll let you know when you're going to be 4 that it comes up with.
Oh,
we have our 4 questions. Yeah.
All right,
we got all 4. You just worry about the answers.
Yeah.
Cool. And for anybody wondering. My prize package is going to include this Kitty Pryde figure with the sword and Lockheed and this X-Men patch. They were Marvel Unlimited exclusives. And I'll throw in some random, free comics into that package.
And John is not giving his away.
He's not giving it away. He's keeping
Nobody
it.
wins now.
Yeah, but I'll be giving these away with some comics to
we also got Joel the Geek in the house. What's up, Joel? All right,
that is
John,
the funniest answer. Yes.
Let's start with you and your question. So
Justin, I came up with a third question. So if you want to use the one that we both had,
great. Okay,
I can do a different one.
All right, I'll take it then.
Does that work for you?
If you don't mind, yeah.
Not at all. Okay, so my first question is: last week when we revealed the Brood spaceship, I compared it to which movie character? Which movie character did I had a couple of GIFs on the screen there next to the Brood ship, and I compared it to who?
See, this is why it's important to watch the episodes, because John and I use some funny and interesting GIFs to describe some of these scenes, and sometimes our questions are based on the GIFs more so than the issues. So
they're already in the chat. We already got the 2 correct answers. The first 2 people. I got Old Wolf and Azores.
All right, let's see. Yep.
Yeah.
Tony, that's your first one. You're on the board, my man.
Nemo. All right, Tony's on the board.
I'm wondering if Azores knew it or he just copied it.
Yeah, you never know. That's the cool thing about this.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not calling people out for not knowing it.
Yeah, no. It's we encourage the copy pasting though.
So we've already got 3 comedy answers. We got Albert with the House of Balloons from Up.
Yep.
We got JP with Captain Jack Sparrow, and somehow Bobby and Jay Hood identically saying Roseanne Barr
at the same time.
That was fast. I did not compare it to Justin's Top Gun cosplay. Solid.
That was a great one.
Joel the Geek says the Xenomorph from Alien.
There you go.
Reed Richards going with James Earl Jones, and looks like Chet is going with Leland, the famous Hellfire Club member, or Wolverine's sandwich is where we're finishing out. Any of those the best funny answer for you, Kavi?
What was I supposed to judge on that one or the third one?
You're going to judge on all of them.
You'll
judge we'll do the giveaway on the last one.
For the last one, yeah.
Well, here, I don't know.
Look how you feel the pressure.
Do you have the comments up in front of you?
I do, yeah.
Okay, all right, yeah. Take a quick skim through there again.
Let's go with Pamela Anderson.
Oh, all right, coming in
there
He's right in there, Eric. Right at the end. Nice one, nice one.
Nice work, Eric.
All right, cool. Next question. Question number 2. My first one is going to be, who was floating in space towards the end of the issue? I had talked about, I referenced Star Wars and some scenes from one of the newer movies, but who was the character that was floating in space last issue?
Lost in space.
And I already see the correct one.
We got 2 of them, yeah,
right off the bat.
There we go.
Yeah, Ryan on the board here for tonight, and Tony,
quick
with the fingers there.
He's
yeah,
got
man.
Speedy internet tonight. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. job.
JP with my favorite answer.
So we're looking.
Chet, I'm also lost, but I think it's because it was the last issue, not today's issue.
No.
Or he's
Chet,
going for funny. He could
wasn't
be
Chet on the show.
He was on the show.
Oh,
God
was he on
damn
the
it,
show?
Chet! You read the dang book last time, and you were on the show.
He's messing with it.
I thought
Gotta be messing
Chaos
with it.
Chris was on. Or was that a different episode?
Oh no, you're right. That was Chaos. That's right. It was
Okay,
Chaos.
all right.
Two. All right, we'll let it slide there, Chet.
All right. But JP's a Colonel Weird.
Weird, nice.
For Black Hammer fans, that's phenomenal because he's always floating in space.
Quick plug. We will be over on JP's channel shortly here in the next 10 minutes or so to talk about Black Hammer and Justice League. So make sure you jump over to JP's after this. Let's see. We got some other funny ones here. Mr. Fantastic says Kanye West rap career floating in space.
Ouch. Shots fired, Reed.
Yeah. Chet is just lost in the trivia. Unless, that's normal. That sounds pretty normal. The Alien Queen lost in space, Jamie says. Michael says Space Ghost. Remember that? Space Ghost, Coast to Coast.
Coast to Coast.
We got Lobo from Super Russ. Let's see. Zoe and Crew in the Mirror. JP answers. Eric with Will Ferrell floating in space, and we got Buzz Lightyear. Oh, Zod. He meant Zod.
Zod. In the big. Yeah, I get it. Now I get that joke. In the mirror.
I was who's Zoe?
Zod. Yeah.
Buzz Lightyear. We got Barbie floating in space. We got Elon Musk's Tesla floating.
It is. It's out there. Yeah.
Theoretically accurate.
We're getting a lot here. Jimi Hendrix, Bobby coming in with Pink Floyd as well, and Corsair floating in space, puffing a joint. Kavi,
he does seem like the kind.
So look, I like a lot of these answers, but I'm gonna have to I'm not even gonna explain why, but due to personal experience and reasons, I'm gonna have to go with Mr. Fantastic, Kanye West rap career.
Boom! There you go.
There you go.
There you go. Nice. Mr. Fantastic on the board. I think first time, right, John?
First time.
Nice.
Congrats, Reed.
Love to see it. All right,
John. My final question is, during the big fight, Storm notices something unusual about the spaceship that the Brood own. What unusual thing does Storm notice about their ship?
Good question. Thanks for coming in with that, John.
Well, it's part of the show. It's all what we do here. It's part of what we do here.
Part of our scramble.
Hey, we have been on fire. Not to jinx us.
Yes,
we've been on fire with getting this stuff ready. Right.
There's some good answers here.
Oh my gosh,
already.
There's some phenomenal answers here.
Yeah, the jokes have superseded the real answers.
I mean, yikes.
So who do you have first, John, for correct answers? Because I'm
gonna let Mr. Scotland take it.
Okay.
Even though he just wrote Alive, which means I'm gonna give it to JP as well. Okay. So Chet, don't ever say this is Chet's first time. No, it's not. Serious. Chet. Don't ever say that we don't just give you one.
Yeah, this is
all you wrote.
Say
is
we
the
haven't
word
done
alive.
anything for you.
You just wrote Alive, like it's that movie with Ethan Hawke. But, no. But there's some good ones there.
There are some good ones.
Tony,
not going to highlight Tony's, but great one, Tony.
solid work.
solid. Krista is bleeding. That it's technically very
That's accurate.
Correct. Yeah,
correct answer.
Bobby
it has a sphincter. Accurate.
Yeah.
Okay, so, Michael.
So coming in hard with that one. Joel has a sandwich. Yep. The Wolverine sub.
Wow, there are so many answers going on here.
They have a vending machine.
Oh my god.
Hey, what's the vending machine doing here?
What's up, Vincent Garzone?
Jay Hood. Hung like an elephant. Yeah, Vincent in the house. What's going on? Yes, sir.
Super Russ. I like to use the dollar sign.
I forgot what the question is based on these answers.
Yeah, what is it about? What did you notice about the ship? What does Storm notice about the ship?
Yeah.
They have a vending machine in the break room. It's out of gas like LeBron. Shots fired. The ship has a shrine to Storm. That sounds fantastic, Albert.
Hey, we got Jimmy in the chat.
Jimmy!
Yo,
what's up, man?
All right. Trying to make Kavi laugh, so sorry. I leaned into that one.
Did I miss his? Oh no, I saw it.
No, I didn't highlight it.
All right, what do you like?
Honestly, that
Tommy?
probably is the one that made me laugh the most.
There you
I
go.
don't want you to
So
highlight.
No,
that's good news for him because he's taken the
counts.
lead again. He
Yep.
is now still one ahead of Chet and Lasso.
Boom.
Right there. That was it. All right.
There you
Last
go.
question. The ultimate.
Okay, remember
All right,
this one is for
this for the
Kavi's-
giveaway?
This
Yeah.
one's for the giveaway.
So we're still looking for 2 correct answers, but the funniest answer will not only get your name on to our list to win our raffle at the end of the season, but also will win Kavi's giveaway here. So let me bring my question up. Last question here. What did Professor X do to the Brood last issue as I'm going to say as he leaped at the Brood?
How does he choose to fight the Brood?
Yeah, there you go. Remember, 2 correct answers, 1 funny one, and the funny one has a little extra bonus thanks to Kavi. And Kavi, thanks again, man, for throwing that stuff in there.
Man.
It's been way too long, man.
Yeah, I'm glad thank you for being with us. And again, anybody not following Kavi, I put his information in the description. Make sure you are subbed up and reach out to him over on Instagram.
And make sure you're following his website too, because he sells books over there.
That is true.
That's right.
I have a big sale coming up.
So I see some funny answers so far, some good answers, some accurate answers. We really could take a couple different things here. So I am going to, as far as the correct ones go, I'm going to go with Tony. Tony had said
he's on fire tonight.
He is on fire tonight. He wrote slap or punch. He wrote both of those before anyone wrote anything else. And then Krista, I'm going to give as the second one here.
There you go, Krista.
Wrote punched one. So Krista on the board tonight as well. Congrats on that. So again, we're looking for some funny ones here. So give it your best shot here because you get a little extra win as Kavi is nice enough to give away a little extra as well if you can make Kavi laugh here on this last question. And I see a bunch here, so I'm gonna highlight a couple. Let's see. He made him. Joel says he made him solve the puzzle from Hellraiser. It's a difficult puzzle.
That's not easy.
No, not easy.
Complicated.
Jamie said he challenged him to a spelling bee. Fair. It's fair. Let's see. That's a good one, Roy Kirk. Slapped them like they were Robin, like the Batman and Robin slap. Classic.
Like the meme. Yep.
Classic meme right there. I love this one too. Reed Richards with the what did the 5 fingers say to the face? Such a good one. Man,
I actually used that GIF last week for that scene.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I'm just saying.
If he wrote this, if Reed wrote this first, I would have gave it to him as the correct answer too, because that's Bobby said he kicked him right in the broodberries. I like that.
There's a couple that are close, but I see one in there that is currently in the lead. I'm not going to give it away, but
okay, all right.
We can call it.
Yeah. Feel free to throw it out.
They've had a lot of time.
Kavi. Yeah, if I
want you to get to the bottom.
Okay.
Before I reveal.
Oh, okay.
He's got to catch up.
He sprayed them with the raid.
I mean, that's a good way to do it. That's
Kissed him gently on the head.
Oh.
Yeah, that's true.
That's sweet.
He gave the Brood participant awards. Let's see. JP put show tunes in their heads and they couldn't stop singing. That's
the worst.
Brutal.
It's really rough.
Happens. Ran them down with his dope flying chair. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to lay him out, man. Lay him out.
Man, there are a lot of answers for this. Tony's backstage with a 3-second. Oh, sorry.
He's got that fast internet, man.
That's him. Yeah.
Fast internet.
He says Martha.
That got me. Albert's the winner.
There it is.
Albert, nice.
Congrats. Albert loves comics. I don't know if we're following each other on Instagram or not, but if you're on there, follow me at
Comic Books
you totally
NYC.
Should. Reach out.
Yep.
Send me a DM or email me at comicbooksnyc@gmail.com.
He's in your neck of the woods, too.
He's local to me, Kavi. So yeah, he's here in Jersey. But yeah,
all right.
Yeah,
so it won't be much of a shipping cost on my end, hopefully. But yeah, man, great job with the Martha joke, and congrats on the Kitty Pryde figure and the X-Men patch. And I'll send you a few books also. So. Send me your mailing address and everything, and congrats.
Yeah, nice job. And Kavi, thanks again. Thank you to everyone here that's hanging out. We got 23 people here, so appreciate everybody make sure you're following both of these guys here. Sub up their channels. Of course, we'll be over on John's channel next week at 9 o'clock, and we will have the ex-wife podcast crew with us. So we'll have 2 guests with us next week. So John, get your channel ready, my friend. And
we get to see Rogue finally showing up in Uncanny X-Men for the first time.
Yes, it should be.
I know.
Fun.
I was 1 issue off from that. I was like, oh.
Yeah. Well, Kavi, hopefully we can have you on again at some point. It's a lot of fun, as always, of course. And you're a great friend, great person in this community. So appreciate you taking time and being with us. Before we close this out, is there anything you want to highlight or let the people know about? Anything coming up that you want to give them the heads up on?
Yeah, I recently did my NYCC 2022 haul, so that's up on my channel. It's like a 20-minute video. Might have a few other random videos here and there, and then eventually I'll be back with another original art hour and the usual occasional content on my channel. Nothing, you guys know I'm very casual with the content, but I think the chances of me appearing on someone else's channel are higher. Like tomorrow I'll be on JP's channel, just like you guys are about to be on JP's channel. I'll be on his channel for Sandman, I think volume 6 we're on, maybe.
Yeah, you guys are really moving through that.
Yeah, so we're moving pretty far into Sandman, which is fun. But yeah.
Nice. Good stuff.
Great seeing everybody. Great seeing you guys.
Like I said, links in the description. Make sure you hit them up. John, you and I, we're going to be over at JP's, right?
Yes, sir.
In a few minutes. So people jump over to JP's channel if you want to talk some Black Hammer with us. Is that the hardcover?
That is the hardcover.
Nice. I got to get that. Got to give me the hardcover. John, anything you wanted to highlight before we jump out?
No. Just join us over on JP's channel. We'll see you in a few seconds.
Sweet. All right, gang. Smash that like button on the way out. We appreciate everybody. And we'll catch you next week on John's channel. Peace.